this is Tanya. Welcome to Tanya Tina's Maths. I would be teaching CBSE Class 10 Maths, and this is my sister Tina Lopez. I teach 8th Maths. Alright, now let's jump into the video. Today we are going to be learning Chapter 6, Triangles, Exercise 6.2, 8th question. Okay, so now let's read the question. Using Theorem 6.2, prove that the line joining the midpoints of any two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side. So this is our 8th question. Alright, so what is Theorem 6.2? So Theorem 6.2 is converse of BPT, that is basic proportionality theorem. Okay, so now what are we supposed to prove? So we are supposed to prove there is a line in a triangle, it is going through the midpoint of any two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side. Okay, so now first of all, to understand this sentence, now let us draw a triangle. Alright guys, so now I drew a triangle ABC. So in this triangle ABC, there is a point which is crossing in the middle. Okay, so midpoint means middle. Okay, so don't get confused. So this is the midpoint, that is middle. Okay, so now let us name it as PQ. So whatever you want to name it, you can just name it, no worries. Alright, so now till here we just drew it, am I right? No, till here. So midpoint of any two sides of a triangle. So here in any two sides we can just draw it, but we need a line, parallel line. Okay, it's parallel to the third side. So we are supposed to prove that this parallel line it's there. No, this parallel line is parallel to the third side. Okay, so this parallel line is parallel to this parallel line, that is BC. So we are supposed to prove PQ is parallel to BC. Okay, we are supposed to prove that. So first of all, before getting into the answer, we usually write the given values. What are we supposed to prove? Am I right? So now let us write that. Okay, so what are the given values? So according to the question, we have, you guys might be wondering, it is really hard to find the given values, but it is really easy guys. So I'll just tell you. Okay, so first of all, since we drew this parallel line, that is PQ, so if a line is going through the midpoint of this triangle, then AP is equal to PB and AQ is equal to QC. Okay, so this is what we learned in converse as well. In BPT also we know that AP is equal to PB and AQ is equal to QC. Okay, it is equal. We are supposed to write equal signs. So remember guys, so whenever we have a parallel line like this, whenever we draw a parallel line, then AP is equal to PB and AQ is equal to QC. Okay, so this is what this is mentioned in the question. I mean it is given in the question in a statement wise. That's why it is hard to find it. Okay, but don't worry, when you just draw the midpoint, then it is really easy to identify it. So AP is equal to PB, comma, and then AQ is equal to QC. So it is given in the question. Alright, so now we are supposed to write, what are we supposed to prove? Okay, what are we supposed to prove? So we are supposed to prove PQ is parallel to BC. PQ is parallel to BC. So remember, whenever we have converse theorem, so that is Theorem 6.2, we are supposed to prove something is parallel. Am I right? So this is what we are supposed to prove in converse theorem. So likewise we can just identify it. Okay, so in the previous questions as well, And from question number 3, I just told you guys how to identify whether this question, in this question we are going to be using converse of BPT or only PBT, that is basic proportionality theorem. Okay, I just told you guys the tricks as well in the third question. In all the questions most probably I told you guys. If you want to know how to find that, you can just watch that video. Okay, so remember, I would like to say now as well. So whenever we have something to prove which is parallel, then we are supposed to use converse. Okay, in the question itself they mentioned theorem 6.2, then we are supposed to use converse theorem. Converse theorem means we are supposed to prove something is parallel. Then I mean something we are supposed to prove that is parallel. Am I right? So here according to the question they gave a clue right over here, that is midpoint. So a line is passing through the midpoint. Just because of this line is passing through the midpoint, no, we are supposed to prove PQ is parallel to BC. So we are supposed to prove that. Okay. So now we wrote what are we supposed to prove. Now let us write proof. Okay. So to prove something we need proof. Am I right? So now let us write proof. Alright, yes. So here I am not going to be applying BPT, that is basic proportionality theorem. I am going to be doing something different, little bit different. Okay, though it seems difficult, no, I am going to be teaching it. Okay, so first of all I am going to be writing AP by PB is equal to, so now I am not going to be writing AQ by QC, that is basic proportionality theorem. I am not going to be using that. Why? Because according to the question we are supposed to write, we are supposed to use only theorem 6.2, that is converse of BPT. So instead what I am going to do is, here no, I am going to be writing, instead of AP no, I am going to be writing PB by PB. So why am I writing like this? Why? Because according to the question, they had already mentioned AP is equal to PB. How did we get this value? Just because we do the parallel line. Just because we do the parallel line only we got this one. Am I right? So instead of AP, I just wrote PB. Okay. So now I got a value that is PB by PB. Am I right? So we can just cancel it. Am I right? So now let us cancel it. So when I just cancel it, I get 1. So now finally I got 1. So since we got 1 now, I am going to be taking it as equation number 1. Alright. So now let us take another one. So I am going to be taking this side, that is AQ by QC. So now let us take AQ by QC. So here instead of AQ, I am going to be writing QC because it is mentioned in the question. So now let us write QC, and now we can cancel it. So when we just cancel it, we get 1. Am I right? So we can just take it as equation number 2. Alright. So finally we got 2 equations, that is equation number 1 and equation number 2. So what are the things left out in equation number 1 and 2? So we have this one in equation number 1 and here we have this one in equation number 2. So we didn't just use this, am I right? So we can just take these 2 values. So from equation number 1 and 2, AP by PB is equal to AQ by QC. So now I am going to be writing like this. Am I right? So this is what is BPT, but I am not going to be mentioning it. Why? Because according to the question, we are supposed to use only a theorem 6.2. Okay. So finally we got something like this. Am I right? Since we are not able to apply BPT, we just did these things and all. We just substituted the value. That is, instead of AP, I just wrote PB. Those things and all, I just did it. Why? Because we are not supposed to use BPT. Okay, so now finally we got the value, though without using BPT. That is a miracle, am I right? So without using BPT itself, I got this value. So since I got this value, it is really easy to prove it is parallel. How can I say it is really easy to prove it is parallel? How means, so for now we can just write PQ is parallel to BC. So I am not supposed to write simply like that. We might lose a mark, okay. So we are supposed to use by converse. So by converse of BPT. So I am supposed to write this. If I don't write this, you guys please do write this. Why? Because if you don't write this, you might lose a mark, okay. So finally I just proved it. Since I proved it, you can at last you can just write hence proved. Okay, so let me just repeat it again. Why? Because most of the times now like this statement questions, it is really hard to understand, but don't worry, if you just understand line by line now, then it is really easy to find the answer. Okay, so first we have using theorem 6.2. This is the very important point. Okay, so because in this whole question now we are going to be solving it by using theorem 6.2. We are not supposed to use another theorems. That is the rule in this question. Okay, so that is why specifically they just told us to use theorem 6.2. okay, and then after this line we have proved that the line joining the midpoints of any two sides of a triangle, that means we are supposed to draw a line. So till here if you understand, it's enough. Okay, so midpoint of any two sides, that means you can take any two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side. Is parallel to the third side means we drew one line, right? We are supposed to show that it is parallel to the another side. So what is that line? PQ is the line. So this PQ is parallel to BC. We are supposed to prove it. So hence we just wrote the given value. What are we supposed to prove? That is PQ is parallel to BC. And then for proof, no, we are not supposed to use BPT, that is basic proportionality theorem. So instead I just separated it. Am I right? I just separated the BPT, that is basic proportionality theorem. That is AP by PQ, PB I just wrote it separately, and AQ by QC I just wrote it in the next step. Okay, why? Because I separated it, and now I just substituted the value, that is instead of AP I wrote PB, and now I cancelled it, I got 1. So here also I just substituted the value, that is QC, then I just cancelled it, then I wrote 1. Now from equation 1 and 2 I got this one. So now finally without using BPT itself we got this value. Since we got this value, I can just say it is parallel by using converse of BPT. It is mentioned in the question. And finally I just proved it.
Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like this video, share it to your friends and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any doubt, you can comment me in the comment section. Catch you in the next video. Bye.